Ted Cruz, who's considering a 2016 presidential run, announced Monday night that he's renouncing his Canadian citizenship. Now, Cruz was born in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, to a Cuban father and an American mother. So why is Cruz doing this? Politics. But we'll get to that in a minute. First, let's take a look at the rules for citizenship when it comes to running for president. So, fascinating debate.
Totally. So I know what you're asking. Who can actually be president? Yeah, well, first of all, you have to be a natural-born U.S. citizen. But that doesn't mean you have to be born in the U.S. You could be born anywhere in the world as long as one of your parents is American.
Which qualifies Cruz,
Which
right?
qualifies Cruz. And there's nothing about dual citizenship. There's no language in the Constitution about that. But no foreign-born candidate has ever made it as far as the presidency. So there is a little bit of a gray area because no one's ever had a legal challenge on this issue before.
And I can't imagine Ted Cruz would either. But I want to let's go back a little further into history because I find this stuff so fascinating. Right. So the natural-born citizenship clause was put in, the drafters of the Constitution, they put this in for, just as evidence, it's all politics, to keep Alexander Hamilton, who was born in the West Indies, to keep him from being president. They were worried Hamilton was this ambitious young guy who thought possibly you should be president for life. So there was this desire. John Jay proposed putting in, and everybody agreed to do it because they were worried about Alexander Hamilton. So even back then, in the powdered wig era, there was still politics.
So as long as there have been high-profile politicians who have not been born in this country, there's going to be people who want to overturn this clause. So in 1974, Jonathan Bingham, congressman from New York, proposed an amendment to make sure that with Henry Kissinger in mind. Henry Kissinger, of course, is born in Germany.
That's so interesting. I didn't know that even happened, but I knew this one because it's more recent. 03, Orrin Hatch, Utah senator, proposed an amendment. Again, nothing ever happened with these things, but proposed an amendment to allow Arnold Schwarzenegger, Austrian-born bodybuilder turned California governor, to at least consider the possibility of running for president. It's fascinating.
Well, there's a couple more here. Former Michigan Governor Jennifer Granholm was born in Vancouver.
Two Canadian parents.
Two Canadians. And Madeleine Albright was born in what was then Czechoslovakia.
And so the thing the history of it is fascinating. The thing that I'm sort of most interested in, the politics going forward. So why is Ted Cruz doing this? So the Dallas Morning News reported earlier this week that he still retains dual Canadian and American citizenship because he was born in Canada. He immediately, 24 hours later, renounces said Canadian citizenship. Why?
Saying no offense to Canada.
No offense to Canada, but I'm an American and I want to be only an American. Because Ted Cruz is thinking about running for president. Look, if the trips to Iowa, last week, New Hampshire, later this week, if those didn't convince you, the immediate response, Jackie, to say, look, I'm American through and through, releasing his birth certificate.
Well, there were already questions. I mean, you had Donald Trump, the person who questions this the most, talk about maybe Ted Cruz isn't eligible. So, once that narrative starts, he's trying to stop it.
He absolutely is. And I think for people who had any doubt about Ted Cruz's interest in running for president, the last 48 hours should absolutely solve any doubt
But it might not be that easy for him. According to the Canadian government, the process of renouncing citizenship can take up to 2 years.
Well, it's going to be with us for a while.
Yep.